The sky was dark. Thunder rolled across the stars. A small space shuttle raced through the air, shaking badly. Inside, Mara held onto her seat. Her hands were tight on the straps. "Come on. Hold together," she shouted. The control lights blinked red, and sparks flew from the panel in front of her. The computer voice kept repeating, "Warning, system failure. Crash landing ahead." Suddenly, the ship hit something hard. Everything went white, then silence. Mara didn't know how long she had been out. Her head hurt. Smoke filled the air. Something warm ran down the side of her face. Blood. She coughed and sat up slowly. The front window was cracked. The control panel was destroyed. Outside, red sand blew in the wind. Jagged black rocks rose like teeth. She had crashed on an unknown planet. Mara unbuckled herself and stood, legs shaking. The ship was torn open from one side. Pieces of metal and wire hung like broken bones. She grabbed her small bag in emergency. Kit. Her fingers trembled, but she had trained for this. She could survive, but was she alone? Outside, the air was hot and dry. The wind was strong, carrying sand that stung her eyes. The sky was a strange yellow color. The sun, if that was the sun, was twice the size of Earth's. Mara looked around. Her ship was half buried in the sand. Nothing else moved. No plants, no animals. No sound. But then she saw them dash footprints, not hers, three-toed, deep and wide. They led away from the ship. Her heart skipped. Someone, or something, had seen her crash. Maybe it helped her. Or maybe it waited for her to come out. She reached for her sidearm, but it was gone. Probably lost in the crash. She followed the footprints. A short walk later, she found it. A creature. Lying near a rock. Breathing, but weak. It was tall, over 6 feet. Its skin was a pale silver blue, shining under the strange sun. Its body looked strong but hurt. One leg was twisted, and its chest rose and fell in a slow, painful rhythm. Its eyes opened. Large, black, and deep like space itself. It looked at Mara but didn't move. Mara froze. She didn't know if it would attack or cry for help. "Ah. You," she whispered. "Alive?" The alien blinked slowly. Then, with great effort, it moved one hand. It pointed to her, then to the sky, then back to itself. She understood. It had also crashed. Maybe not alone after all. Mara looked at its wounds. Blood not red, but dark green leaked from a cut on its arm. Its leg was clearly broken. She slowly took out her med kit. The alien didn't resist. It watched her, breathing hard. She cleaned the wound, used a spray to stop the bleeding, and wrapped the arm. When she tried to touch the leg, it flinched. Stopped. "Okay, not ready for that." The alien made a strange sound, not a word, but soft, like a hum. Almost thankful that the wind blew harder. A sandstorm was coming. Mara looked at the sky. Thick clouds of dust were rising fast. They needed shelter. She pointed toward a rock formation nearby. The alien nodded weakly. Mara didn't know how, but they managed. She helped it stand, using a broken pipe as a crutch. Step by step they reached. The rocks. There was a small cave inside. Dry and dark, but safe. She helped the alien sit down. It looked at her again, eyes full of questions. She didn't know what to say. She only knew one thing. They were both stranded here now. And survival meant working together. As night fell, the planet grew cold. The heat was gone, and the wind howled outside like wolves. Inside the cave, Mara started a small fire using her heat gel from the kit. The flame glowed soft blue. The alien sat close, shivering slightly. It looked strong, but it was clearly in pain. They sat in silence, watching the fire. Two strangers. Two survivors. No words. Just breathing. Just being alive. Suddenly, Mara's eyes caught something. A strange shimmer under the alien's skin, just for a second, like light passing. Through water. She turned to it. What are you? It didn't answer. Only stared into the flame, as if haunted by something far away. Outside, the stone screamed louder. Inside, the silence grew deep. They didn't know each other. They didn't know the planet. They didn't even know if help would ever come. But they knew this much. They were not alone, and that was something. Asterisk. In the middle of the night, Mara woke up choking. Something was glowing on her chest. She looked down and saw the alien touching her heart with its hand. Mara gasped. Her hand reached for a rock near the fire, but the alien didn't move. Its long fingers were pressed gently against her chest, right where her heart was. Its eyes were closed. It was humming softly like before. The glow faded. Then it opened its eyes and slowly pulled back. Mara sat up, breathing hard. What were you doing? The alien tilted its head, then touched its own chest, slowly mimicking a heartbeat. It wasn't trying to harm her. It was trying to understand her. They sat in silence again. But this time it felt different. Not fear. Not anger. Something else. Curiosity. When morning came, the storm had passed. The sun rose red over the dunes. Mara stepped out of the cave. The shipwreck looked far in the distance now, half buried in red sand. It would never fly again. She returned inside and found the alien trying to stand. Its legs still shook, but it used the same pipe crutch as before. It looked at her and pointed to the cave wall. Then it began to draw. Its finger moved in slow, sharp lines across the dirt. Circles, stars, a small dot, then a big one, and a curved line between them. Mara's eyes widened. That's a map. The alien tapped the small dot, then pointed to her. You think I came from here? It nodded. Then it tapped the big dot and pointed to itself. Then it tapped both dots and drew a jagged line between them, a crash. They were from different planets, but both ended up here. A shared fate. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed across the canyon. Mara stood up fast. So did the alien. Another ship? A rescue? No. A low growl rumbled across the rocks. Mara looked outside and froze. A large creature with 6 legs and bone white skin was crawling across the sand. Its eyes were black and hungry. It sniffed the air and growled again. It had found them. Mara reached for a stick. The alien reached for a sharp rock. They stood side by side at the cave's entrance. The beast charged. Mara screamed and swung the stick. The alien leaped forward with the rock. It was fast. Too fast. The creature knocked Mara to the ground. Just before it struck again, the alien roared a deep, powerful sound and stabbed the rock into the beast's eye. It screamed and ran off, leaving behind a trail of dark blood. Mara coughed and sat up. She was scratched but alive. The alien dropped the rock, breathing hard. They had saved each other. As the sun fell again, the two sat back inside the cave. Neither spoke. But they didn't need to. Something was changing between them. Mara looked at the alien's hands. They were rough but gentle. He had risked his life to protect her. She still didn't know his name, or even what species he was. But she knew this. He was no longer just a stranger. He was a partner in survival. Later that night, she wrote in the sand again. Her name. Mara, she pointed to herself. The alien watched, then drew a strange symbol like an upside-down tree. She pointed. Is that your name? He nodded. It wasn't a word she could say. Not yet, but she smiled anyway. Outside the night grew quiet, but deep in the planet's shadows, something else was moving. Another danger. Another secret. And neither of them knew yet. This was only the beginning. Mara froze. Her eyes stayed shut. Her breath slowed. Something warm was behind her, breathing on her neck. Slow, wet, animal-like. She turned her head just a little, a shape tall, thin, with long arms crouched at the cave's entrance. It wasn't the alien. It wasn't human. It was something else, watching them. Suddenly, The alien woke. It sat up fast, its body tense. It saw the creature and growled. The thing at the entrance hissed and crawled backward, moving strangely fast across the rocks. Then it was gone. Silence again. Mara finally exhaled. Her heart pounded like a drum. What was that? She whispered. The alien didn't answer, but its face was tight with fear. They didn't sleep again that night. Instead, they built a stronger fire. The alien took out a glowing stone from inside its gear. It placed it on the ground. The light pulsed softly. Mara watched it. A warning light? The alien nodded once. It was now clear they were not alone on this planet, and not everything here wanted them alive. By morning, Mara was exhausted. The alien too. They needed food, water, a new shelter, deeper and safer. The small cave wasn't enough anymore. Mara stepped outside to search for anything useful. The sun was already high. Heat hit her face like fire, but something in the distance caught her eye. A strange plant. Tall, with red leaves like fans. She called the alien. He looked at the plant and nodded slowly. Safe to eat. Together, they cut pieces from the plant and chewed. The taste was bitter, but it helped. It gave them strength. They spent the afternoon building a new camp, not far from the cave, under a large rock arch. They used pieces of the broken ship metal sheets, wires, and glass to make a stronger shelter. Mara used the survival rope to tie a cover over the top. The alien worked with silent skill, shaping sharp tools from stone. Even though they didn't speak, their hands moved like one. Survival had made them a team. That evening, as the two sat by the fire, Mara took a small device from her pack. It was a translator, part of her emergency gear. She had forgotten about it. She showed it to the alien. He leaned in, curious. She tapped the power switch. The screen lit up. "Try speaking," she said. The alien looked confused. She pointed to him. "Speak, talk." He gave a soft hum. Then said a single strange word. "Terren." The translator buzzed and spoke in a soft voice. "Name." Mara's eyes widened. "Your name is De'Iran?" The alien nodded. Then he pointed to her. "Mara," she said. He repeated it. Ma-Ra. For the first time they had said each other's names. Suddenly, the ground shook. Not much, just a light tremble, but enough to knock the metal sheet from above. Mara and Terren looked at each other. An earthquake or something under the surface. They stepped outside and looked across the horizon. Nothing. No clouds. No creatures. Only the endless red desert. But something didn't feel right. The planet was hiding something. Later that night, Mara couldn't sleep. She looked at Terren, who sat near the fire, eyes watching the dark. She walked up and sat beside him. "Do you think we'll survive this?" she asked, not expecting an answer. But after a long pause, De'Iran looked at her and said, softly, "Together." "Yes." His voice was deep, strange, but full of truth. Mara gave a tired smile. Together. That was all they had now, and it had to be enough. But far away, in the shadows of the rocks, glowing eyes were watching. Waiting. Hungry. And the worst was still coming. Mara sat up, heart racing. She wiped her tears. "That song, how do you know it?" Terren didn't answer. He just looked at her, eyes soft, glowing in the firelig. She had dreamed of Earth, of her childhood, of her mother humming a tune to her on stormy nights. And now, the same tune from an alien's lips? That was impossible. Or was it? "Terren," she whispered, "what are you?" He looked down, then reached into the small pouch on his side. Carefully, he pulled out a shimmering pendant, a strange crystal, glowing with soft light. He placed it gently in her hands. As Mara touched it, she felt something like a soft pulse, like a heartbeat. Suddenly, memories flashed in her mind. But they weren't hers. Stars, fire, screams, a spaceship tearing apart, a world lost. She dropped the pendant, gasping. "That was your past?" Terren nodded once. then touched his chest. He had shared part of himself with her. Not with words, but through energy. Through memory. Through connection. The silence after that was heavy, full of meaning. They sat close to the fire, saying nothing, but feeling everything. Something had changed between them. They were no longer just survivors. There was something more. The next day, the planet showed its darker side. A strange fog rolled in, thick, cold, and full of whispers. Yes, whispers. Mara could hear them, voices, in her mind. You don't belong here. You are not safe. She stumbled outside, confused. Is someone out there? Turen ran to her side and grabbed her shoulders, his eyes wide with warning. He shook his head sharply and tapped her temple. Not real. The planet was playing tricks. Not all danger here was physical. Some came from the mind. Later that day, Mara and Turen explored deeper into a rocky cave system. They found a hidden room, ancient, full of symbols carved into the walls. Mara touched one. It glowed faintly. Pictures showed a humanoid figure and a creature very much like Turen. But something was strange. The two were not fighting. They were holding hands. Mara looked at Turen. Your people have been here before? He nodded. She pointed to the human shape. And mine? Turen didn't answer. Instead, he placed his hand over hers on the glowing wall. A new light came from the stone. Their shadows danced across the cave walls, joining together as one. A warning? A message? Or a prophecy? That night, as the fog lifted and stars returned to the sky, Mara and Turen sat by the fire again. Mara broke the silence. Why me? Why did I survive the crash? Why are we both here? Turen looked at her for a long time. Then said, in slow, clear words, it was not an accident. Mara froze. What? Turen looked up at the sky. And for the first time, she felt fear again, real fear, because now she knew something, or someone had brought them here on purpose. But why? And for what? The answer was still hiding in the shadows, but one thing was clear. Mara was no longer just a woman, stranded on a strange world. She was part of something far greater. And deep inside her body, something new was already growing. Turen rushed to her side. Mara! Her face was pale. Sweat rolled down her skin. Her body trembled. I don't know what's happening, she whispered. It's like something's changing inside me. Turen pressed his hand to her stomach lightly, carefully. His eyes widened. He pulled back, stunned. Then he looked up at her and spoke a single word in a shaking voice. Life. Mara's heart skipped. No. That can't be, she said. I'm not. I mean, we didn't. She stopped. Had they? She thought back those strange energy pulses, the night he touched her chest, the way their minds had linked through the glowing pendant. Maybe it hadn't been physical. Maybe it had been something deeper. Something alien, something spiritual. And now, something inside her was growing. The next few days were full of fear. Her body was changing fast, faster than any normal pregnancy. She no longer felt hunger. She no longer felt tired, but she felt warm, alive, electric. At night, she heard soft sounds from inside her body, tiny heartbeats, soft pulses, not painful, but strange, like someone tapping on the inside of a wall. Turen became more protective. He no longer let her walk far alone. He made their shelter stronger, added extra heat, sharpened new weapons. Something about him had changed. Not fear, not panic. But focus, purpose. He knew what this meant. One night, Mara stood under the stars, holding her belly. She whispered to herself, what are you? Are you mine or his, or both? Turen came behind her and stood silently. She looked at him. Did your kind ever mix with humans before? He didn't answer, but his eyes were sad, almost like yes. Later, Turen showed her something he had kept hidden, a small silver cube. He placed it in her hand. When she touched it, it lit up and showed a hologram. A woman. Human. She was pregnant, just like Mara. Turen stood beside her in the image. Then, suddenly, the video ended. Static. Mara looked at him in shock. Who was she? He spoke one word. First. Mara understood. She wasn't the first, but maybe. She was the last hope. Suddenly, a loud sound cut through the night. A ship engine. Far away. In the sky, Mara looked up, eyes wide. Rescue? But Turen's face changed. He didn't look happy. He looked afraid. No, he said. Hunters. From the shadows, black figures began to move toward their shelter. Tall, armored, silent. Not creatures, not animals, aliens with weapons, tracking the same signal. Coming for what was inside her. Coming for the child. Mara grabbed her pack and ran. Turen took the lead, guiding her through the rocks, deeper into the wild. They couldn't fight, not now. They had to protect the life inside her. They had to run. Together. And as they disappeared into the desert night, inside Mara's body, the heartbeat grew stronger. Faster. Louder. Something new had entered the universe, and everyone wanted it. Asterisk. Mara's fingers bled as she connected broken wires inside the wrecked beacon. Sparks flew. Still no signal. She slammed her fist on the panel. Come on, work. Behind her, Turen watched the skies. The hunter's ship had landed hours ago. They were on foot now, searching, tracking her by scent, by heartbeat, by something neither human nor alien could explain. They were coming, and the child inside her had grown silent. No kicking. No glowing. Nothing. Turen crouched beside her. He pointed to the tower's top, then to the sun. The heat would peak soon. Then the storm clouds would rise. Dust would block signals again. They had minutes left. Mara swallowed her fear. She reached deep into the signal base, tore out the power core from her survival pack, and jammed it into the open slot. The beacon flashed. One red light, then two. Then blinking green. Why, ease? She shouted. It's working. Far above the planet, in a lonely ship drifting near orbit, a light blinked on. A rescue alert. Human made. Urgent. Alive. Coordinates. Lot. But on the ground. The hunters had seen it too. Their heads snapped up. All four turned toward the blinking tower, and they ran. Fast. Unstoppable. Mara and Turen grabbed what they could: food, gear, the glowing stone. They fled into the canyon, feet slipping on red sand, lungs burning. Mara stumbled. Turen caught her, helped her up. No time, she said, tears in her eyes. Leave me, you can fight. I can't. Turen stared into her soul and shook his head. Never. As the sun dropped low and winds picked up, the skies roared. A dot appeared high above a shuttle cutting through the clouds. Rescue. Hope. Also a target. The hunters howled, and their weapons lit up. Shots cracked the air. A beam missed Mara's head by inches. She screamed and fell. Turen pulled her behind a rock, shielding her with his body. A burn mark scarred his shoulder. But he didn't stop. He looked into her eyes, and then he gave her something. Small capsule, warm, pulsing. He pointed to her stomach, then to the ship. He was not coming. No, she said, voice breaking. I won't leave you. But he pushed her forward, gently but firmly. One last look, one last smile. Then he stood tall, faced the hunters, and roared. Mara ran. Every step felt like death. Her legs barely moved. Her heart was louder than the gunfire. The ship's ramp lowered. Hands reached out. Humans. They grabbed her, pulled her in, sealed the door. Who's shooting at you? Someone yelled. Mara collapsed to the floor, clutching her stomach. Not who, she whispered. What's inside me? Outside, in the burning light of sunset, Turen stood against the hunters. Wounded. Alone. But not afraid. He had protected her. Protected the future. And inside the ship, as Mara cried in silence, something inside her moved again. A small kick, a soft glow. The child was still alive, but so many questions remained. What was it? Why did the hunters want it? And what had Duran just sacrificed? One answer echoed in her mind. This child is not just part alien, it's part hope. Mara gasped. She ripped the oxygen mask from her face. No. Don't touch me, she shouted. Two medics stepped back in shock. A third froze near the monitor. On the screen, a glowing shape pulsed inside her belly. Not normal. Not expected. But alive. Very alive. A man in a uniform stepped forward. Commander Holland. Gray hair, sharp eyes, cold voice. You were found carrying something unnatural, he said. Our scans show hybrid DNA, unknown power signature. It's a risk. Mara stared at him. It's not a risk. It's a child. A weapon, possibly, he replied. It's not a weapon, she said, holding her stomach. It's a part of me, and of someone who saved me. Meanwhile, back on the planet's surface, smoke rose. The hunters were gone, and from beneath the rocks, Duran's hand moved. He was alive, but barely. The wind whispered across the empty world, and the stars watched. Back on the ship, Mara stood by the window. Space stretched beyond. She knew Earth would never understand this child, never accept it. She could already feel the pressure scientists wanting to study it, officers treating her like a test subject, whispers following her every step. She had a choice: stay or escape. Late that night, the lights dimmed. Mara moved quietly, holding a small bag of supplies. Her body ached, but the child inside her gave her strength. She slipped into the shuttle bay. One small escape pod sat unused. She entered quietly and typed the destination manually. Not Earth. Back to the planet. As the pod launched, alarms blared. But it was too late. She was already gone, flying through space, back to the only place that had felt real. Back to him. When the pod landed, the air was thick with dust again. The red sands had shifted. She stepped out slowly, hand on her belly. Duran, she called softly. Please be alive. Nothing answered. But then, a soft hum, a glow. A figure limped from behind the rocks. Burned. Bloody. But standing. Alive. Single quote. Ren. Mara ran to him, tears streaming down her face. He looked at her belly, then at her face. The glow was stronger now. He placed his hand gently on her. Their child responded, one bright pulse. No words were needed. Together, they sat on the warm ground as the sun rose. A new dawn. Human and an alien, and the child of both, the first of a new kind. Far in the stars, others would search. Others would fear. But on this quiet world, something greater had begun. Not a war, not a weapon, but a future.